Hi everyone, how are you doing today? Hope you're good. And today, going to be having a quick look at some of the books and the series that I need to complete. Most of the books that need to be finished on this list are books that I started in 2021, but I didn't finish them in 2021 for one reason or another. And then the series that I need to finish, some of them are ones that I started last year, some of them I started I think there's like one series that I started in like 2019 that still needs to be finished. I do have more series than this that need to be completed, but for this list I'm only including the series that I physically own all of the books for. So really I have no excuse to not finish the series. So there were a few originally that I put in here, and then I realised, well, actually, there's no guarantee that I will own the final book or two books before the end of the year, so I took them back out. Starting off with the actual books that I need to finish, there's a couple that I did last year that I said on another video that in my DNS video that I might try again. So these are potentials that I will do, which is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth, and The Absolute Book by Elizabeth Knott. Those books I was considering retrying and seeing if maybe I like them if I try them again. But in terms of books, first of all, we have Assassin's Apprentice, which is the first book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I've been told multiple times to read this book. I did actually start it and I got like to chapter 4, but I was not enjoying it. I was bored. I think it's because I was reading it when I was younger, and then when I then went to read it the second time about 2 years ago, I think it was just as I was getting back into reading, so I was still very much into YA, and this is pretty heavy. So I have promised myself that I will get to it and I will finish it this time. But yeah, this is the only one on this that has been sort of one that I started forever ago, so you know I don't really remember anything about it apart from he had an affinity with animals. I don't know, but I will get back to this one this year. Next we have Flashfire by TJ Klune. This is book 2 in the Extraordinary series. I absolutely loved the first book and I did start this one, like I ordered this the day after I finished the first book, and it arrived the following day. I started it the following day, and then life just distracted me, I guess, and you know, ADHD. But you can see I actually got a fair chunk in and I was loving it. In my 22 to read in 22 video, I've put this down as a 5-star prediction, so I want to try and get to this one as soon as possible, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to restart it or if I'm just going to start from where I left, because I still remember exactly what was going on. And I know exactly what the last thing was that happened, so I might just pick it up where I left off. But yeah, I really need to just, you know. We then have one that I only actually read the first maybe I don't think I even got to page 20. So I don't really know if I can even count this as I started because it's just so little. But that was Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett. And it's not that I wasn't enjoying it, it was just for some reason when I was trying to read it, I think I sometimes can struggle with physical books, like to physically read them. And if I'm tired and my eyes start to go a bit swimmy, I struggle to then actually read on the book. And I think that was just the case with this one, as I picked it up and I started reading it when I was too tired. And I just was struggling to keep myself focused, because one thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I'm actually dyslexic. Like, I'm not too bad, but when I'm tired, lines on pages, I can read screens okay, but on actual paper, they start blurring together and merging, and I start to really struggle to like pick out keywords and stuff. So yeah, I think I just need to read this one when I'm a bit more awake. Next book is Thorne by Interstar Kanani. I think again this book is one that I just was trying to read at the wrong time. I was reading this in the start of December for the Reindeer Readathon, and I don't know if I just wasn't in the right mood or if it's just not the right book for me, but I got to 70 pages in and I just wasn't enjoying it, and I just didn't really care about anything that was happening. I think with this one, it's a Goose Girl retelling, and I've read the Goose Girl and I've read a retelling of the Goose Girl before, and I didn't really get on with it. So I think it's just, I'm not a fan of stories where people like identity swap or someone pretends to be someone else. I'm not really a fan of that, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I feel the frustration too much. Next up, we have another one that, again, I can't remember if I was going to do this for the Reindeer Readathon or if I just randomly... I think in November I joined some reading sprints on Break Even Books channel, and I just randomly picked this thinking, well, we've still got like 4 days of November, so I can get this done easily. And again, I think I was too tired and the words were all blurring together and I just wasn't taking anything in. So I didn't end up carrying it on, and I do want to, because the concept again is great, and that is The Space Between Worlds by Mikaya Johnson. I know, again, it's sci-fi, and I think I just need to be in the right frame of mind for sci-fi, and I wasn't. I did do a fair bit. I got to page 45, so I didn't do too bad, but I know that it's one that I do want to give proper attention to. The last book I'm using as a bit of a tie-in between the books to finish and the series, because this is both. It's a book that I started and need to finish, and it's a series that I need to finish this year because it is the second book in the series. That book is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, which is book 2 in the Villains series. And you can see I am over halfway through this book, and that was end of October time, so I just never picked it back up again. But I'm thinking I want to try and get this in January. I want to finish the other books that are on the My Heroic TBR, and then if I can clear the 7 of those, then I want to try and get this one finished this month. And at the moment I am on track to be able to do that. But yeah, I do love this series and I am loving the characters and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And then obviously, like I said, that now leads into the actual series that I want to get finished. I'm kickstarting this off with one that I'm actually going to be reading next week, because I have told myself that for my birthday I am just going to sit and read. I'm just going to sit at home and read Winter, which is like going to be my longest book of the year by far. This one is 827 pages. So actually this will be the longest book I've ever read, because up until now, House of Earth and Blood, and that's only 803. So this will be the biggest book I've ever read. And yeah, it's the final book in the Lunar Chronicles. And I have been absolutely loving this series so far, and I can't wait to get into it. I've predicted that this is going to be 5 stars. Did I? Or did I predict this is going to be 4 stars and hope for a 5? I don't even remember, and I only recorded the video 5 minutes ago. But I'm hoping that this is going to be really good. I'm hoping that it's going to be worth it. And yeah, this is one that I've had since 2020. So I got it in 2020 and I'm now going to finish it. Really excited to get onto this one. The second series that I am determined to finish, because I bought this book when it came out and have been too scared to read it, is Queen of Vaults by Amanda Foodie, which is the 3rd and final book in the Shadow Game series. And I absolutely loved Ace of Shades. I read Ace of Shades in, I think, I tabbed it, so that must have been 2019 that I experimented with tabbing my books. I then read King of Fools, I think, at the end of 2020, and then I have been too scared because I cried at King of Fools and it ended on a massive twist and cliffhanger that I'm now terrified to read the final book. But I have promised myself that I will get there, because I've got a feeling that if I love this one, then between this series and All of Us Villains, Amanda Foodie is going to end up being an Instabuy author for me. So I do want to check this out and see if that is going to happen. And then the next one, I know I've been putting off because I'm worried I'm not going to enjoy it, and I know that historically I have not enjoyed this. And it is the Witch series in the Discworld books by Terry Pratchett. So with the Discworld, there's something like 36 different books, but within the whole series, there are different like stories that you follow. And even though these are books 2, 3 and 4 in the Witch series, they're like books 7, 20 and something else in the overall. It's really complicated, but they're designed that you can read these without having read the entirety of the Discworld series. I find with Terry Pratchett that when I read individual quotes and snippets, I love it and I think it's brilliant. But when I try to read like the whole book, I get really lost and I get a bit bored and I struggle. And even though I appreciate what he does with his writing, I've not been a fan. But I have promised that I will retry them. So I did Equal Rights last year and I thought it was okay, nothing great, but these are the 3 that I know people say are the best, and Weird Sisters I think is everybody's favourite. So these are the last 3 that I need to read in this series, and then these will determine whether or not I'm actually going to carry on and read the rest of Discworld. I don't know yet. We then have book 2 and 3 of the Cursebreaker series. I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely in 2020. I liked it. I didn't think it was fantastic. It was okay. But I fell in love with the character Grey and I was desperate to know what happened with him. And I know that the second book focuses more on him. But then I've heard really, really, really mixed reviews about the third book, about like whether it's good or not. And the one thing I do appreciate is that it isn't like some trilogies where the first book's quite small and then the second one's a bit bigger and then the third one's like a huge chunky book. So I do appreciate that they are about the same in size, so I'm not going to have to like struggle with that. I still love these covers. I still think they're beautiful and I'm still really excited to get into them. So we've got Heart So Fierce and Broken and A Vow So Bold and Deadly, which this one I got in a Secret Santa in 2021, and so thank you Secret Santa, I really appreciate it. And so it means now I have no excuse because I have all 3 books, so I don't have any excuse to not complete the series, and I promise I will complete this bloody series. And then the final book in my selection is one that I got for Christmas. It was on my Christmas wish list and my housemate came through and bought it for me, and I was ridiculously excited when I saw the cover poking through the box, and then I kind of nearly cried when I saw how big it was, but I'm still super excited, and that is Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. I read These Violent Delights, which is like a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai, and it's got like gangs and all of that. I liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I didn't love it and I've not been excited. But then when I was setting up my reading journal and going through my different series, I couldn't bring myself to take it off my list of series to complete, and I kept thinking about it. And there are Benedict and Marshall. The fact that I remember their names tells you something, because I do not remember names unless I like the character. I really want to know what happens with them, and I am still intrigued about what this whole big bad evil thing is, because it kind of was really weird. And I think I didn't like it because I was getting very confused by what the hell was actually going on. So I decided to screw it, I'm gonna try and finish it, and I did ask it for Christmas. I got it for Christmas, so I will be getting this one done. I may need to reread These Violent Delights just to remind myself before I do this, because like it has been over a year I think since I read it, and my memory is quite hazy. Like I remember big things, but I can't remember the smaller things that I feel I'm going to need to remember for this. So I may need to do a reread. I may try and do a buddy read, see if someone wants to read it with me, but I don't know. So that is the final book that I need to get done. As I said, there are still other series that I've got. So just looking here, I've got the Plated Prisoner series, but the final book doesn't come out yet. I've got Girls of Paper and Fire, where I've requested the third book for my birthday, but obviously until I've got it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But any books that I don't have the final book to, at least I will be able to continue with, because I've got quite a few books where I've got like a few books in the series. Those are the books that I want to get to. Of the individual books, which books do you think I should prioritise? And of the series, are there any of these that you are also looking to complete this year so we can team up? Or are there any books that you've already completed and think are amazing and think I should prioritise and get to them as quickly as possible? let me know in the comments. And yeah, that is my series and books that I need to finish. Let's see at the end of the year how I get on with that. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now, and love you guys very much, and until next time, I shall see you. Bye.